Yo guys, what's going on? Lucky Cheese 7 is back again to give you guys a live stream discussion slash review on Dead Rock Chapter 3. And let me just say this right now. Doing a monthly chapter live reaction is honestly kind of refreshing because when you're doing things week to week, not that it's not fun, doing chapter live reactions week to week, or in this case, chapter discussions on a week to week basis. But it's more like you have you have the month, you can come back and do the reaction, and then speculate some things, have some theories, which I need to do that for Dead Rock. But it's just kind of refreshing. It's like, okay, cool, you're here for the month, and then you come back. It's like, all right, what happened now? But at the same time, when you're looking at that, it is also kind of a detriment too because it's like, oh shit, did the chapter come out or what? So it's kind of like a pick your poison situation. It's like you know one of those things. But anyway, I'm not gonna go off on too much of a tangent here. But chapter 3 of Dead Rock was, oh, what can I say? Like that's fascinating. Because let me just start off here right from the get go. The chapter title is called Classroom Massacre, and when I heard that, I was like, "Ooh, like how much of a massacre are we gonna see?" So we start off. We have this amazing cover page with Yakuto, Mikoto by his side, and then off to the side is Raisen. And this is actually where we get to see the human world. It's like you see the human world in the Event region. And it looks like kind of like a church setting, if you will. That at the very least, that's what I'm seeing. It looks very much like that. Oh God, please save us. We beg of you. The lengthy drought has kept us from growing any crops in our village, and we lack a sufficient supply of drinking water now as well. And like you're seeing, like the villagers too. We are all your children, Selt. We have lived honestly for hundreds of years. Please, please grant us mercy. And as soon as this happened, like you see God himself like actually show up. Like the priest of the he's like, what's going on here? Surely it can't be. It's impossible. And he's like, I am God. Such a divine countenance. I think that's how you say it, right? Countenance, I think is how you say it. My human children, you wish for rain. Like you're seeing the villagers, they're like, oh God, will you grant our wish? Behold, the work of God. And as soon as this happens, rain starts falling in the sky. It's raining. It's raining. Oh, it's a miracle. Rain has come to our village. Ah, what a wonderful day. We're saved. Oh God, oh God, we are the children of Selt. Oh God. And let me say this right now. The second this man starts smirking, like I already had a feeling, I was like, there has to be something more than just that. So he says, this is a blessed rain. And oh my God, like the raindrops like bury everything. Like you see, like houses getting destroyed. The priest is like, what is this? Giant pillars of water, and it's a this like it's a huge massacre. And you see God, and he's like, what a waste of time. Playing with humans isn't even good for killing time. And thus we go back to the demon world, Dead Rock, and we see one of the professors, the poisonous plant, the Heis, I think that's it, right? Or the HYS mainly grow around level 400 of hell. If it's not handled properly, it can be lethally dangerous. Thus, you see Mikoto paying attention. You see Freya, who's apparently just sleeping. Um, Hein's like super focused too. Raisin's kind of just like, give me a break. Choko says, "Don't eat it, Honeywa," and Honey says, "Like I would. Are you stupid?" And Yakuto's taking notes. Sensei, what is it, Yakuto-kun? If God was poisoned with this, would he even die? And Raisin's like, "Hey, wait, what?" That little, and Mikoto's like looking like, yeah, I'm kind of curious about that too. Don't be foolish. Of course, God wouldn't die from mere poison. And Yakuto says, right. Thank you. As it's going on, you're having the conversations being taken place with Raisin saying they suddenly sprang a poison class on us. It covered how to refine and how to manage it. It was very educational, so Mikoto says. And Honey's like, I knew there were going to be a lot of scary classes. And Freya, who's like super awake now, is like, maybe the next one will be about cooking birds. And Choco's like, hey, I'll kill you. So, poisoning him is out, is what Yakuta says. And Hein says, you didn't really think you could kill him so easily, did you? Of course not. I told you, I need all of your help. And Raisin's like, I never said I'd help you out. And Freya's like, hey, what's on your forehead? And Mikoto says, that's a cooling talisman. He's a corpse, so his body will rot if I take that. I mean, it's true. Like, Raisin did kind of kick the bucket in the last chapter, so it these little implements are actually really, really nice to kind of get in the story, for sure. Freya's like, gross. And then Yakuto's like, can I try it just once? And Raisin's like, give me a break. Behind's like, if you're a corpse, you're immortal in a sense. I already died once. Which Mikoto says, no. Theoretically, I'm controlling him. So, if I die, he'll die too. Which, from a writing standpoint, that does give me wonder if Mikoto's going to be put in a situation. I don't know. I just get this weird sensation, like, because that little line of dialogue was, like, thrown in, that maybe is gonna come back into play at some point in Dead Rock, but who knows? But then you had me kind of looking like, so do your utmost to protect me, Sir Knight. And you see that Raisin's just kind of annoyed. It's like, great. Which door opens up. You see some students walking in. Hey, you're class F, ain't you? And you got obviously Freya, Mikoto, Raisin. It's like, we're class D. Two of our little lambs were killed in the cafeteria yesterday. We'll make you pay for that. The guy with the rose. And again, what I love most is that Yukoto's like just looking over and he just points over, like, yeah, this guy did it, just very bluntly. I had nothing to do with it, so please excuse me. I have something I need to take care of. Like literally, Yakuto just like really like just walks past, like, nope, I have no involvement in this. I'm walking away. And Raisin's like, "Ah, you little," and Hein's like running away with that us, which Honey points out, shouldn't our class all band together? Are you stupid? I'll leave the rest to you guys, which he runs off. Class D's like, "Ah." You know what? They're still here. Which Mikoto's like, he really left. And Raisen says, and his parting words were something like, the hero says before going off to face the final boss. Well, it's not like it matters against these small fries. Excuse me? And Honey's like, guess we don't have much choice, bird. Can you fight right? And you like Honey like looks over and he's like, hey, he flipped the coop or she flipped the coop already. Which Hein's like, jeez, you're dead meat. The class I joined turned out to be a real pain, and he uses his katana, goes for the attack, so does Freya. Here I come, looking all badass. And Honey, too, like, bringing out the hammer of Thor, the Mjolnir, and, like, really, like, this is quite literally the definition of a classroom massacre. Like, it is insane, because even Raisin's coming in on it, too. Which you're having this happening simultaneously as you have got like purging through the village that he so desperately helped out. See, that was a harvest god, right? Sorry, I killed that one a long time ago. Which, cutting back to this, what's with these guys? They're crazy strong. Narcissus son. Worry not. This is the botany classroom, is it not? My route is a Trent. I control the poisonous plants. So we got a plant user here. And Honey's like, this is bad. These are the HIS plants from today's class. And Raisin, like, or not Raisin, but Hein covers his nose, like, block your mouths. Like Freya does. Mikoto does the same thing. Raisin, you can suck it all up. Are you crazy? It's not like the poison can kill you. Which Raisin's like, wait, oh, I get where we're going with this. So he like really sucks up the poison, which some of the class students from, uh, D say, like, for real? Like, wait, he's sucking it up? And you see, he's like, oh man, this is gonna get annoying. Mikoto says it's going to hurt, so just endure it. You should have said so sooner. And I'm not gonna lie, like the more we get from Mikoto, the more cool she feels to me because like we're only 3 chapters in, and I feel like the more content we get, the more it's like, dude, holy shit, like this is actually really really cool because she says, "So who was cruel to my little puppet? You were. Are you stupid?" That's what Hein and Honey says. And you get this again, like this super badass shot of Mikoto, and she's like, "I'd like to thank you properly." Which, going from there, we cut over to another section of Dead Rock. It's the chapel, love and death, and you got Mikoto just hiding it, like no one will find me here, and he, puts like a little eye, like just off to the side where he's sitting. They'll be starting soon, and it looks like there's like a conference of sorts. And look, I'm not gonna lie to you here. When I saw this panel here with like the upside down pyramid and like the little eye in the center, I was like, "What is this? The Millennium Puzzle or some shit?" But it's not the same thing, obviously. But you can't help but think, like, dude, that was so totally a Yu-Gi-Oh reference. Like, no one can deny that that was not a Yu-Gi-Oh reference because it totally, you know, had that mystique, if you will. And it's the top level of Dead Rock, where the staff meeting is being taken place. And we see that Maxwell's there, and Yakuto's like, I'll look through Maxwell's eyes to collect information. Today's meeting is regarding Class F. I hear you, and we see one of the four demon teachers, whose name is Baltiger. Uh, Baltiger the Kraken, one of the four demon teachers. He's in charge of Dead Rock's northern ocean area. Then you also have Lilith, who's the succubus, and there are plenty of cuties too. Again, one of the four demon teachers. Lilith Sensei the succubus. She's in charge of the chapel where I am right now. They killed two students on their first day here, and the ogre head chef as well. To which we also get Lozen. That's marvelous. Yes, I can't wait to have a fiery duel. Root Mephisto, one of the four demon teachers. So, I guess in a sense you could say we've kind of got the element four. And this has kind of been a prevalent thing because we've had the element four in Rave, we've had it in Fairy Tale, we've had it in Eden Zero, and now we're having it here in Dead Rock. So it's again pretty much par for the course. uh, Losen Sensei. He's probably the best fighter out of all the teachers. He's in charge of the Death Arena. Lozen Sensei. You killed countless students under the pretext of dueling. I like you to go easy on them this year. And you get the vice principal. Uh Bren. He is a gigant. One of the four demon teachers. So these are all four of them. So we got Bren, we got Lozen, we got Lilith, and we got Baltiger. Interesting, to say the least. And the vice principal, Bren Sensei. I'd like to do something about these four teachers first, but we can overlook the deaths. That's what Yakuto's thinking. And Lozen says, we can overlook the deaths of a couple students. And I love this panel here too, because Lozen's like, it's not like they massacred a whole class, which, I mean, when you're seeing this panel, it's like, yeah, about that. They pretty much did kind of massacre the whole class, so ouch. I'd be a little concerned. Just a bit. Be like, okay. Looks like you're out of soldiers, is what Honey says. Hein doesn't say anything. And then Freya's like, you still want to do this? To which the remaining student from Class D is like, huh? So many corpses. And holy shit. Like, you can, like, feel, like, the vibe that Mikoto's giving off. Because it's like, dude, it is, like, some real freaky messed up shit because she's like now awaken as my servant and like you see like pretty much the whole classroom that got massacred and they're like raising up. It's like if you want to get chills, the term like man I'm getting the real chills right now, this is definitely it. Holy shit, like no one cannot deny that you are getting you are not gonna get chills from this because it's something. And you have those guys like, wait, what the little lambs are? Stay back! Oh God, save me! And like they are like tearing into this guy, like nothing whatsoever. And Freya's kind of like just like, ugh, it's kind of disgusting. And right as when that happens, again, you get all these cats here. Maxwell's looking, which kind of surprises Yakuto. And it's the principal, it's God himself. Where have you been? You always look so good. Mwah, mwah. And like you see Yakuto's like shook like God. And I actually really love what we get here on the next page because these next couple So these next few panels we get, just on this page, you get like a brief little flashback of Yakuto when he was like really young, and he's like seeing like an entire village being destroyed. You can pretty much gather that this was probably like his home, and that he's probably like the last surviving member of like, the because his roots come from the Black Dragon, right? So to me, like what these two panels kind of imply is that he's the last survivor. That is essentially what I'm getting here, is that he's the last survivor, and it correlates back to the beginning of the chapter too, because you see kind of what God did to like that one village. So in a sense, it already kind of showcased that he's been doing this to like other places in the demon realm. And again, it's a nice correlation. And Hero really doesn't do stuff like this on purpose. Usually, it's not just out of mere coincidence that stuff like this occurs simultaneously. They usually have like some kind of like deeper hidden meaning behind it. So when you really look back at say the beginning of the chapter and you correlate it to this one little like brief instance in Yakuto's mind, it's like, oh shit. So he's, a victim from one of God's calamities, and you see the rage in his face too, like when we flash back, like the look on his face, like the intensity, and he's just saying God. So it is not more so just he wants to kill God for the sake of it. It's like no, as a matter of vengeance. That's kind of what Yakuto is saying here, without outright saying it. Obviously, again, like these two panels, they speak a lot about Yakuto. Like we've been getting little insights here and there as to like what Yakuto is as a character. Like in chapter one, we get the revelation of okay, he wants to kill God. Chapter two is like, all right, he kind of explains the reason to his classmate. Not explain the reason, but he tells his classmates that look, I need y'all's help if we're gonna try to take him out. And then here we get a little bit of his backstory as to why he wants to get rid of him. So it's not just that, okay, he wants to be like the higher echelon of the demon realm. Maybe that's probably the case too, but it's a more personal connection to him. And it's tragic. I'm not gonna be lying here when I say that, but it is a rather tragic scenario here. And again, like a slow burn thing. Like you don't dump everything about your character in the first chapter. You want to sprinkle it like as you get new content in the chapter. And I think with what Hero's been doing with Yakuto, I think it's been great. It's been really, really great. And this chapter is just the same as the last two. But you're seeing this, you see God, Maxwell. Class F is yours, isn't it? And he's like, yes, sir. I seem to have a lot of problem children. They're quite a handful. And I'm not gonna lie here. Well, like when God walked up to Maxwell and like he looked him directly, like straight in the eye, he could tell. He could tell. Like, wait a second. So something's like fishy. Something is like super mad fishy about what's going on. And he pokes. Legitimately, he pokes. Um, Maxwell, which breaks off the connection for Yakuto to like spy on him. And you see that he's shook. Like this is the first time we've seen Yakuto be like extremely shook. Like, he caught me. Oh no! Oh no! And like you see him like fall out from the like the sacred room that he's in, and you see like his hands kind of like burned off too. And who do we get? We get the Neko girl that was introduced last chapter, which I did say this, that when you have a character design like this, usually that means that they're gonna have a little bit of a prevalent spot. Like it's not gonna be like just a one-time design that's like not done with at all. Because I remember stating this in the last chapter when we saw her. I'm like, something tells me she's gonna play a little bit more of an important role. And I mean, what do you know? It turns out I was right about that because that's exactly what happens. Because she looks at what happened at Yakuto's arm and she's like, spreading far. He's like, huh? Who are you? So this means you don't have much time left. Hmm. And that's the end of the chapter. The chapter pretty much just ends off right here. And I'm not gonna lie, it's fascinating. It is a very, very fascinating chapter, much like the last two. I think this one definitely, like chapter one was pure perfection. Chapter two, if I remember correctly, I remember giving it amazing. I remember giving it that. This chapter though, amazing plus. This is an amazing plus chapter, arguably pure perfection. I'm gonna say arguably, but the lowest I can give it is an amazing plus because, again, given with what we've seen from Hero, from Rave Master, like Rave Master is peak writing when it comes to Hero. Fairy Tale, we all know the reputation behind that. Super overhated, in my personal opinion. And Eden Zero, obviously, is an interesting case. I want to see where Eden Zero is by the very ending of it before I make a full blown judgment on where it stands. But as far as the first two series goes, Rave Master's Pure Perfection, Fairy Tale is good. It's like good to good plus. Arguably great. And so far as Dead Rock goes, I will say it is amazing plus arguably pure perfection. Consistently. And that's a good thing. From a monthly standpoint, this is great. It's super, super great to see quality content like this. And for those of you wondering where my current thoughts are for Eden Zero, since I've mentioned that, Rave was pure perfection, Fairy Tale was like good plus to great. Eden Zero right now, I'm gonna put a great plus. It's like a great plus at the moment. Because I want to see, where the rest of the Universe Zero saga and the Yukino Cosmo stuff goes before I really give like a full judgment on it. And again, so far with Dead Rock, it's been amazing plus to pure perfection. And it's like I said, like the more we get from this, the more I'm like, dude, like what exactly is Hero planning us for when it comes to this? And remember, this is only supposed to be a limited series. So I don't see us being here for like say like 100 plus chapters. I don't think it's gonna be that long. And I mean, keep in mind this isn't the first time we've seen Hero do a monthly serialization either. He's done a monthly with Fairy Tale Zero. And if I'm keeping that in mind, Fairy Tale Zero was what, like 13 months? Like 13 chapters, right? So 13 chapters each month. Yeah, so that was like probably about like a year. A year and yeah, like just 1 year. If I have to take a guess on Dead Rock, I want to give it the same time frame, like 1 year, maybe a year and a half, maybe. Who really knows? It really all depends on where we're going. I mean, we're moving at a very good pace with this manga, and I'm curious about about what the Neko Girl's role going to be here in all this. And again, huge dubs, like huge dubs for Honey, huge dubs for Choko, Mikoto, Raisen, Hein. Like, oh my god. Well, Choko actually fled, so I can't really give Choko any props at all. But the other ones, Definitely. And with that being said, you guys, that's pretty much all I've got to say when it comes to this month's chapter of Dead Rock. I might do some discussion videos like within the month, you know, talking more about the series, some ideas I could possibly have, and wait until we get chapter 4. So let me know what you guys' thoughts were on this chapter. Do you have any gripes with the chapter? What was your favorite part about the chapter? And aside from that, guys, that's pretty much it. I'm Lucky7. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more Dead Rock, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.